Alright, so we need to talk about this. Why are people saying Dragon Ball FighterZ is a bad game now? Like, obviously, I'm aware of the changes that have been made to the game, but I feel like the game didn't actually change that much. And it's kind of crazy to see people say this game is a bad game now, when to me, this is still like one of the best anime games and one of the best fighting games ever made, period. Now, first off, I'ma just say this. I love this game. I really love this game. Don't get me wrong, I've played this game enough to know that there is some major BS that happens. And for the first few months of really getting into the game, I feel like there's just times where you just get hit with shit and it's like, huh? That hit me? Or that didn't work? Like, you know, like just basic stuff when you're getting into a game and you're not used to how everything hits, how everything connects, whatever, right? And if you're not used to the way Dragon Ball FighterZ works, it can be pretty overwhelming, I guess, with just a bunch of characters on the screen and certain things like Genyu, right? Or like the fusion characters can just feel very oppressive. And it's just like, huh? Like you're trying to figure out, when can I stop blocking? You know, it can be definitely frustrating. Like I totally get it. I can totally understand where people can be frustrated with the game. Like I've definitely played it enough to have my fair share of frustration when it comes to this game. But at the same time, I've played video games enough to know that you don't really love a video game until you've played it enough to hate it, if that makes sense. Like when you've played enough of a game for it to make you feel something, to make you feel anger and frustration, that's how you know you love it. That's how you know you are passionate about that game. And yeah, Dragon Ball FighterZ has definitely made me feel that way. I really do love this game. I do feel like when it first came out, you know, it was a competitor against Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, right? And it kind of just killed that game and, you know, took over the tag fighter slot for EVO and just, I guess, filled that void that Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite left in the FGC for a lot of us, right? But to me, I saw like even more potential in this game. I saw not only was it an amazing fighting game, ran smooth, hyped to watch, like and it's Dragon Ball, which I love, but also that's the thing. It's Dragon Ball. It's an anime game. And if we talk about anime games, Dragon Ball FighterZ is the best anime game we've ever gotten. Like gameplay wise, graphics wise, quality wise, like this is the best anime game. And it's also a balanced / meant to be competitive fighting game on top of that. So we get to see it at tournaments like EVO and Combo Breaker, etc. So to me, this game was just really a huge surprise and ended up being the best of both worlds. And it's crazy to see people talk about it as if it wasn't that game for everybody at one point. Like this game broke records at EVO. Like it is insane. I really just love this game. I want to give this game its flowers before I talk about how people talk about it now and, you know, what they've changed, etc. But I really just got to take a moment. I think we should all take a moment to just really appreciate what this game has done for the fighting game community, for the anime game community, for just gaming in general. So it's funny how I say all those things, but when we look at the game now, basically they had a patch where they did a lot of rebalancing to make some of the characters a bit better and have more combo potential than they originally had. They also added rollback to the game, which they didn't have to do, but people were asking for it for such a long time, they finally did it. And then they added this whole thing where you can do your level 1 super into your level 3 super, which I thought was actually really cool. Some of them look really cool. And yeah, like I said, they just made a bunch of other changes for more combo potential for a lot of characters. All in all, I would say the changes that they made sound pretty good on paper, right? Like on paper, they sound like a lot more fun. You can kind of make more teams work because of all these changes. So it kind of feels like a universal mechanic change for every character in the game. It's not like, oh, certain characters got buffed, certain characters got nerfed. No, every character got buffed. Every character got a lot better because now every character can level 1 into level 3. Now every character can do, you know, certain things to have more combo potential. Every character has more combos now, basically. So every character is kind of crazy now. And it's overall, like on paper, it sounds like a blast. You know, it sounds like just more fun for the game, right? You can now play any team because every team can essentially work with everybody getting buffed and having more combo potential. However, people took this change, this balance patch, very negatively. And I think certain characters getting buffed that didn't really need to be buffed is what made people give up on it competitively. Like, I do remember Vegito got buffed, and Vegito for me was like the most oppressive character. Like, I really do not like fighting against that character in Dragon Ball FighterZ. Vegito was a problem. Him getting buffed did not need to happen. Like, when people were saying I'm quitting FighterZ, I could understand when I saw Vegito getting buffed. I'm like, hello? That character needs, oh. Anyway, but the thing is, outside of that, there was nothing really else that felt too game breaking, right? Like, everybody got buffed, but in a general, game mechanic sense. Like I said before, it was a universal buff to every character. It's not like the rich got richer and the poor got poorer. It's like everybody got a little bit better. So what's the big deal? Everybody has more combo potential. So now characters you struggled to make work, you can now make work more often. I can see how like maybe some team compositions can seem less creative since anything can work now, but I think overall, it's not really a bad thing for the game. People made it seem like it killed the game, but my issue with that is nothing about the game really changed, right? Like, after this patch, I was hearing everybody complain this and that, the competitive integrity is gone now, it's over, it's ruined. But like, when I would watch tournaments of the game after the patch, I was still seeing the same teams, I was still seeing the same combos, I was still seeing a lot of the same things. Like, everybody made it seem like the game changed so drastically and like everything is so different, it's so bad, it's broken, it's busted, there's no competitive integrity anymore. But to me, I'm still watching the same damn game. It's the same gameplay, it's the same neutral, it's the same, strategies going into every team and every, person that's trying to win the tournament. So I'm sitting here thinking like, why are people saying this is a bad game? Like, nothing has changed. Yeah, you might see certain characters on the team that you didn't see before, but that's it. And to be honest, that's better. That's what we needed, was more variety. Like, I really don't think a whole lot changed, because when I watch the game and I watch gameplay, high level gameplay, it looks exactly like how it looked before the patch. So I'm really just not seeing where all this negativity is coming from, where everyone's saying, oh, the game's bad now. Like, where is that coming from? Because to me, it's like nothing has changed. I don't get it. Like, I think they had a really good patch before their final patch where they like nerfed the fusions, but not in a way that like really nerfed them to where they're not fun. If I'm not mistaken, they nerfed it to where the fusion characters don't build meter as fast when you have more than one of them on the same team. Something along those lines. So that way it made you feel less encouraged to play the fusion characters like all together, right? And I think for the most part, a lot of people really liked that change and liked that nerf because it was done in a very smart way of making it to where the fusion characters are still really good, but there's less incentive to play more than one of them now. And just basically try to keep that from being the meta. So I thought that was really cool. And I think for the most part, people were liking the general direction of where the game was going. Then once that final patch, the final balance update came out, everyone's just like, oh, yep, fuck it, it's over, we're done. And they just left the office. And it's like, I really don't think the final balance patch changed that much to where, the teams that you wanted to make work don't work. Like, it just, again, seemed like everybody just got buffed. Everybody's just crazy now. But yet, when I would watch tournaments after the patch, I was still seeing a lot of the same stuff. People were still playing what they wanted to play, and that's good, that's great. So I'm just really not seeing where this negativity is coming from, where all this the game's bad now talk is coming from. I don't know why everyone hates this game now. To me, it's still one of the best looking games for fighting games and for anime games. And it really makes me sad to see people shit on this game and talk ill of it and talk bad about it and just say it's a bad game when, it to me will always be one of the best games ever made. But yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm just missing something, and maybe you guys know of something else about this game and why people don't like it. I mean, I know they added rollback, and apparently that caused a lot of glitches or not game breaking, but like the game looking kind of weird in some ways. But to me, that's just rollback. Like, rollback is, I knew that was gonna happen when they implemented rollback, because like there are games like fighting games, Street Fighter V, Skullgirls, where the rollback is not great. If you don't have good connection, rollback will not save you. And people get this misconception that rollback will save them, will save their bad internet. That's just not gonna happen. that's just not gonna happen. And I knew that when they implemented rollback, we would see some wonky stuff because rollback does that. Like, that's what rollback is. So I don't count that as like the game being ruined. And to be honest, I still don't think you can really count that because I don't know. I just feel like the online of a game doesn't play like too much of a factor for me. Like I thought the online was fine before. Like I never really had issues online playing Dragon Ball FighterZ before it got rollback, other than the amount of rage quitters that were online. But like the actual connection side of things was fine, you know? It's, and I tend to always have that. Like I always feel like whatever fighting game I play, the online is usually fine. Like if the other person has bad internet, they have bad internet. Like that's on them, whatever. But it's like, I'm usually just fine. Like I don't understand how, you know, you can really take that as a factor into like a game. I can kind of understand for Street Fighter V because the netcode was just so bad. Like it was terrible. I get that. Every other fighting game that I've played has had good netcode and a good enough online experience to where, you know, for the most time and most part, I'm enjoying the game whether it's online or offline. So I don't think them adding rollback and having some wonky issues with that should really account to people saying the game is bad. But if that's really the only other reason, I mean, I'm curious if that's really the only other reason, or if there's something else that I'm just missing, because I don't think that should be the reason this game is suddenly just bad now and not looked at as one of the greats, in my opinion. But if there's something else that I'm missing, definitely let me know in the comments below, because I really would love to see people not talk bad about this game as if it didn't change so much for fighting games and anime games and accomplish so much for so many people. Whether you're like a Marvel FGC head or you're a Dragon Ball gamer head, whether you're into anime games or fighting games, like I feel like this game did something to you. It changed your life in some type of way if you were there for it. And to see its legacy and its word of mouth fall off so hard, it breaks my heart. So I would really like to know why that is. If I'm missing something, or if maybe you guys were just on the bandwagon and this video maybe changed your mind or opened it a little bit. Let me know, man. Let me know in the comments below. Please leave a like on the video as well. That would help me out a ton. Subscribe if you are new. We talk about fighting games all the time on this channel. I'm a huge fighting game fan, of course, but I also love other games. You know, huge anime fan as well. So yeah, if you're like me, you might, you know, like some more of the content that I've made. So feel free to check it out and subscribe if you like what you see. But that's gonna be it for this one, guys. Thank y'all so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And hopefully I will catch y'all in the next one.